Do you know 80% of our body is what we eat and drink? 80%. 15% is the movement. Don't even call it exercise, call it movement, is the movement we do. And 5% is genetics. If you're heavy in the body, you're heavy in the heart, the head and the soul. I have clients who will never poo again because they were on GLP-1s for quite a long time. Everybody can be the weight they want to be, easily. It's just there's a lot of people out there selling myths and lies, so you buy their products. What I'm saying is food noise can be eliminated very quickly, actually. Menopause, you don't need to put on weight. It is not a life sentence. You can always fix it, and I work with that. You can always fix the belly, you can always fix your hormones, you can always fix the happiness, anxiety, the sleep.
Hi, I'm Caroline Carey and welcome to the Eat, Nourish, Love podcast. For over 20 years, I've created events, raised over 4 million for good causes, and been lucky enough to meet some incredible people along the way. This podcast is about exploring stories and insights that really shape us, with inspiring guests from wellness, business, self-care and personal growth. It's about learning to trust our intuition and discovering what truly matters, and how, with hard work, belief and tenacity, we can make so many things happen.
Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to have Pippa Hill on our podcast this morning, the Eat, Nourish, Love podcast. Pippa is known as the Weight Loss Guru and is one of the UK's leading weight loss experts, specialising in sustainable body transformation, particularly in midlife. There's so much more she can talk to you about, but she's also written a best-selling book, Reclaim Your Life in 7 Simple Steps. There is so much we're going to cover today, and I'm so excited to welcome you on the podcast this morning.
Well, Caroline, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And spring has sprung. The weather, the sun is shining, and we're all in this more, I hope, life is tough, but it's positive. We've got to be positive all the time. So this is fantastic. A great time to see you. That's spring renewal. Everything starts now.
It's always the renewal time. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring it, because, you know, like everybody else, you start the beginning of the year, people make these New Year's resolutions, whether they're right or wrong, or whether they do it anyway, people do. And they hunker down in January and February comes out and suddenly things haven't gone to plan. Life starts happening again. And we come out of hibernation and the sun starts shining and they're going, oh no, I want to get that perfect body, whatever that means. So you've been in this world for many, many years. You've had over 50,000 hours of coaching with people. So talk to us about how you got involved in it.
Okay, so I 25 years ago, I was publisher. I was with Hearst magazines. I started in BBC, Hearst magazines, and I was publisher of Zest, which at that point was the leading health and fitness and beauty magazine in Europe. So I got completely obsessed. I was published by Squire as well. That's a slightly different story. I traveled all around the world with the job. I was in Asia for years. It was fantastic. And then having had the 3 children, sort of you want to maybe see them occasionally. So I went into politics because I'm like you, I'm a carer. I want to help others. I'm passionate about helping others. So I went into politics. And then my father, who was very successful and had everything, was in love with my stepmother, and he had manic depression. He committed suicide 3 times till he was lucky the 3rd time. And I began to realize that the most important thing in the world is our health and our happiness. Then, like you, we have a bonding. My mother died of pancreatic cancer, like your mother. Again, health, happiness, because she had a lot of unhappiness in her life. I have very close family, bipolar, alcoholism. So I just thought, actually, the most important thing in the world is our health and our happiness. If we don't have that, we don't have anything. We can have all these purposes, be successful, run the world, make millions of pounds, run charity. But if we don't have our health, we don't have anything. So I retrained for 3 years, went back, retrained everything. And so I'm qualified in eating psychology, which is what I'm doing, behavioural change. Because if people aren't happy with their weight, it's nothing to do with really what they eat once they've done the nutrition. It's unhappiness in life, or not loving themselves enough, or not caring about themselves. So I help people love themselves again, care about themselves again, and find a purpose in life again. And then I've done that for 16 years, 50,000 hours. And then 5 or 6 years ago, the business, the Weight Loss Guru Ltd, was created, because everyone said, well, you're the weight loss guru. But what I want to say is it's not about weight. What I offer is reclaim your life in 7 simple steps. It is about reclaiming your life. A lot of my clients maybe went through a bad divorce, maybe had a horrible job experience, maybe their parents have died, and people then give up on themselves or turn to sugar to find happiness or whatever. Yeah. And again, this is not about what they eat. It's about our mental state. So it's really reclaim your life is an acronym: real foods, eating time, cut the crap, liquids, very important. People living on lattes and juices, alcohol, because I deal with a lot of people with alcohol addictions, and we're all addicted to everything, really, happiness, pleasure. Investigates obviously the emotional side. I do a lot of Carl Jung and neuralistic programming and positivity. And then M is movement, because although, 80% of our body is what we eat and drink. 80%. 15% is the movement. Don't even call it exercise, call it movement, is the movement we do. And 5% is genetics. So if you get the food right, that's the easy bit. What I'm doing is getting the passion, the commitment, the motivation, the momentum. That it might be we want to be around longer for our children. It might be we want to be more confident for our job, more confident to get back to dating again. So what I'm giving is a solution to life. Weight is just, as I say, if you're heavy in the body, you're heavy in the heart, the head, and the soul. If you feel like fly, and fly means everything. I mean, I'm divorced, single mum, 3 kids. I found love, and if you can fly, and I think people, when they feel heavy in themselves, they're depressed and they could have cholesterol problems, heart problems, cancer. When you're light, you reverse all the risks of bad health issues by 90% when you're in a healthy place.
That's such a lovely analogy, that light, because light, well, we were just talking about light now. There's enough light here. And light is so important. It's always been a really important thing for me. And you talk about fly, that's the lovely thing about the eagles, when you let children fly.
Right.
And suddenly when you fly and you let them go, and that lightness, because whatever it is that we carry, whether it's weight or something, is so heavy. And so it's heavy moods, heavy energy, and we attract things, don't we, in that world. But what I want to come on to a little bit is that you just mentioned the fact that it's behavioural things. So, and I'm not knocking GLP-1, because it's a very good place for it, and I also think we must make claims and things on this podcast. But you're not dealing with the problem, are you? A lot of the time.
So, if you have a BMI of 40, that is very morbidly obese. That's what GLP-1s were originally invented for. It's someone who's almost going to really risking a stroke or heart disease, because we don't talk about weight loss. We talk about visceral fat loss. That's the fat wrapped around your organs. That's inside you. Remember, equal on the outside, equal on the inside. So if you're bigger than you want to be on the outside, your body is full of fat wrapped around the organs. So it's a health risk. And then you've got external fat and your subcutaneous fat, which again can cause knee problems, hip problems, back problems. So if you're really, really struggling, then GLP-1s were invented for a couple of months to get you to have a kickstart, maybe to get you to sort of, I can help get rid of food noise in 4 days if somebody's committed. But let's say somebody can't find that passion, maybe they've got depression, anxiety, and they need real help. Then the doctor can give you GLP-1s, and on a very low level for a couple of months, to really maybe just give you that kickstart. And in conjunction with that, they would talk to a health expert, a nutritionist. Remember, doctors aren't, they only do a little bit of nutrition. They're brilliant at heart surgery. They haven't got time. You need someone who's got time and loves you and supports you to get that result, commitment, passion. So it's a journey. So that's brilliant. Unfortunately, what's happened is, because people in England are buying it off prescription, 1, you don't know what you're getting. There's a lot of health risks. 2, it is a short-term thing. What the British Medical Association have now said is you have to be on it for the rest of your life, because when you come off it, the weight always goes back on again. if you haven't dealt with the change of lifestyle. So that's what I'm saying. You're very, very heavy. You get it off a doctor. You then talk to a nutritionist, a psychiatrist, whatever, and you then change journeys from injections or pills to, although they don't really work at all, to a lifestyle change. And it will work. But as I said, that's not what people are doing now. They are just thinking, I'll binge inject it. And then they think I'll be on it for life. Now, £300 a month for 40 years is unimaginable. So every client I've got a lot of clients in America, so they did it 5 years ago. They all said, lost 2 stone, put on 3, lost 3 stone, put on 4. But the other thing, and it's everybody's choice, is as we age, our muscle and our bone density is crucial. It's about health. And what you've got to remember with GLP-1s, it's liquid anorexia. You stop eating, you get less nutrition. So obviously serotonin comes to your gut, melatonin, your sleep, serotonin, your happiness, oxytocin, your love. They all come from your gut. So you're kind of cancelling out your health. And they're therefore saying can affect your love because, if you become like an anorexic, you're just not eating. Yeah. So what you lose, 40% is actually bone and muscle. That's why the look is very clear because, and other parts of the body, not going to mention any, sag. Anyway, so it's a lifetime commitment. So somebody says, I want to inject myself for the rest of my life. That's their choice. But they must understand if they go on it short term, all the weight will go back on again. So it's a sticking plaster. Yeah. What you do is if you want to go on it, you go on it, but you talk to the nutritionist, the exercise expert, the psychiatrist. You talk to them at the same time in conjunction. And then when you can come off it, you're smoothing the transition. It's not something to do and then come off because the weight will all go back on again. Now, I'm going to give you an analogy, and I hope you understand this. There are 7 billion people in the world, and right now, almost 5 billion are overweight. It's quite terrifying. In America and here, we're 87% obese and overweight. By 2030, Britain will be 50% obese, and that's quite life-changing. So it's like saying, my job, I hope, as a nutritionist, all our job as a nutritionist and health wellness person, is let's say all the water in the world was dirty. All the water, because a lot of the food, all the water in the world is dirty. People are eating processed man-made, food with allergens, intolerances, inflammation as a result. So let's say it's the same. Let's say all the water in the world is dirty. And my job, all the nutritionist job, is to go out there and try and help people and purify the water, clean the water, make sure people aren't drinking this stuff. Find a cure, a solution to the dirty water. Now, what GLP-1s are doing is saying, no, let's everyone drink dirty water all the time, but we're going to inject so you can carry on drinking the dirty water. That's, you see, when you understand that, because I can get rid of food noise in 4 days. 4 days, I can change people's lives completely. It takes a week and they go, oh my God, this is a miracle. This is so easy. Why did no one tell me this? Right? So why inject yourself when actually it just takes a week? Yeah, but that's their choice. That's your choice. But as I said, it was designed for very, very overweight people. But what's happening now is it's become ubiquitous, prolific. People who are even skinny are doing it to get skinnier. And there's a lot of that you see. And don't forget, that's osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. You never get the muscle and bone back. That's the problem.
Is that true? Because there is a concept that they can say that you can read because your bones are not there; they're not permanent. The bones.
If you're 20, you're quite right. Sorry, I'm dealing mainly because obviously people naturally, with their hormone change, start to put on weight from 30 onwards. Yeah, the average woman puts on a stone between 30 and 40, 40 and 50 because we're losing skeletal muscle. And we're putting on subcutaneous fat. So our metabolic rate changes. So a lot of my clients will say 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We do not get that bone back at our age. Yeah. We're losing 60. Yeah. We're losing 12% of our lean tissue every decade now. So if we start losing that now, and then you come off GLP-1s in a year or two, how are you going to get that back?
Yeah.
No, I get that. And muscle is, at our age, lean tissue is everything. If you have a high skeletal muscle, you can eat everything you like. Yeah. If you have a low skeletal muscle, which is naturally happening at our age from 30 onwards, you can't. Your metabolism slows down. I obviously speed up the metabolism. And then your bone density, well, that is crucial. That is everything. Again, we do not want osteoporosis, osteoarthritis. That is life-changing in every way.
So I'd like to come on to the bone density and that side of it. But I just want to go back on something you've mentioned here because I'm not sure everybody understands what food noise is.
Oh, okay. So people often say, Oprah Winfrey's famous for it, I'm hungry all the time. Yeah. And my way, the way, the Pippa Hill method, or whatever, Reclaim Your Life. I also do metabolic age reversal, fast, flat belly back. We eat more and we drink and party. It's not a diet. No diet will ever work. But there are certain foods that give you so much insulin and so much blood sugar that it's a dopamine high. And dopamine could be gambling, could be drugs, sex, rock and roll. Yeah, we all love dopamine. So we get a dopamine high. And because we don't move as much, until 1975, if you look, people weren't overweight so much. Because you and I, what people don't understand, exercise is not like go to a gym. Yeah, we used to chop wood or build a house or build a pyramid or work in the paddy fields or dig for oil or, we naturally did. Now, and we died at 42. Remember, we used to die at 42. We've doubled life expectancy, been out at 82. We're now trying for 120 the next. Yeah. And yet, since the computer was invented, we've literally stopped moving. So those certain foods give you a brilliant energy boost, which is fantastic when you're a child or if you're a builder, a laborer, or digging for gold or digging for coal. Or But in 2026, you've got to see, we are not moving as much. And therefore, certain things give you too much of an insulin spike, a blood sugar hit at a certain time. And the consequence is your body says, well, you haven't fed me yet, because those foods don't go all the way through. They give you a quick energy boost. You get a high, an insulin high. For every high, there has to be a, yeah, say, and then, yeah. Now, if you went and did a 2-hour walk, yeah, then great, yeah. But if you have high skeletal muscle, but if you're getting older and you've got less skeletal muscle and you're sitting on your bottom, that unfortunately, your body goes, whoa, panic, what can I do? Oh my God, okay, take that blood sugar out of the blood, put it into your liver and your muscles, but anything extra has to be stored as fat. So quite often what we're doing is storing fat. Now, again, it didn't matter when we were farmer, hunter, gatherer, laborer. That's the way we're made. But we're trying to live to double the length without moving. Do you see? It doesn't work. We've crashed.
So what are the foods that create that noise?
Well, anything that gives you really high. Now, carbs are great. You're supposed to eat carbs 70% of the time. People say, oh, carbs. Rubbish. Carbs are crucial. Proteins are crucial. Fats are crucial. You need your fatty acids. You need your amino acids. Carbs are fiber and poo and energy that you need them. Yeah. Another thing with the GLP-1s, I'm afraid they do slow your digestion down. So your food goes into your stomach for a while, then into your intestine. Yeah. 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
With GLP-1s, your food stays for 24 hours. So there are a lot of people I have clients who will never poo again because they were on GLP-1s for quite a long time. So it slows the food and your food stays in your tummy for 24 hours. Yeah. So anyway, there are problems with constipation and bowel problems and stuff. Yeah. So food, carbs, proteins and fats go through and they slow release and they give you energy for hours and hours and they do their purpose. So there's nothing wrong with carbs, nothing wrong with proteins, nothing wrong with fats. So you can eat and eat and eat, to be honest. It's not, calories is just a way of measuring energy. That could be standing. Standing could be 100 calories now. Moving around, it's not like count calories. It's not about that. Yeah. Because you can be slim by eating a lot and you have an insulin high and start storing fat by eating very little, but by eating, let's call it very heavy starch-based food, which are fantastic. They have a purpose if you're a farmer, hunter, gatherer, laborer. Yeah. So carbs are things people don't understand. Carbs are things like fruit, veg, salad, rice, seeds, herbs, pulses. Pulses are fantastic. Yeah. They're a superfood. So think of dal, think of hummus, think of chickpeas, think of flageolet beans, think of cannellini beans, think of edamame, think of, people forget that. You can really eat a lot of food and you've got to eat a lot of protein, a lot of fats. Fats are essential fatty acids. So you can really eat a lot of food. Yeah. But when you have the more processed starchy foods, they are literally a quick release. It's like quick, energy. I'm going to go and build a field. I'm going to go and, go and toil in the factory. And so you get a massive insulin high, or abnormally high for the amount of movement you are doing if you're sitting on a computer all day. I hope standing desk. Yeah. So people can eat whatever they want, but they must have the same amount of movement. And to me, have you got time to do an extra 2-hour walk all the time? You know what I mean? I think we want to eat and drink and party without having to be committed to constantly be moving to get rid of it.
And I'll come on to that because that's movement. But they so what are these hit? Are they like they're crisps? It's processed food. It's isn't it? It's crisps. It's sweets. It's sugar. It's chocolate. You know, I mean, and obviously dark chocolate. But what sort of
You'd be quite surprised. Let's say your average potato. Yeah. Now they actually can't eat them raw. You can't eat a potato raw. This is a classic. It's a science. It's all science. Let's say it's a potato. You can't eat a potato raw. So it has to be cooked. Yeah. Quite a lot. It's a heavy beat. It's not that the sugar caramelizes, but by cooking it, you change the sugar level of a raw potato, which could be about 50, and the sugar level, the blood sugar level comes up to about 85.
Yeah.
White sugar is 59. So believe what you read, but a jacket potato with lots of stuff, cheese and can be 24 teaspoons of processed sugar, and people say that's healthy. Ironically, you could have had 3 chicken curries, 3 lamb curries, you know, maybe a cheese salad, a chicken salad, and you know, and a chicken curry, and you wouldn't have had that insulin high. Do you see? You can actually eat more to lose weight. And eat to serve.
I do remember many years ago. There's a guy called Professor Clark who I went to see, and I had all my bloods tested and things like that. And it was all about, you know, I think very similar to what you said. And I just remember people said, you know, how do you feel? I went, I've never eaten so much. It's unbelievable how much I can eat.
I can't say I'm really full. This is ridiculously easy. I'm really full. I'm really happy. I just don't believe this. You know, and I'm like, that's why you never diet. A diet will never work. You're doing something weird and dangerous, and then you come off it and put it on. But my way, you eat. I eat a hell of a lot. We all eat. Oh my God.
I know. That is one of the reasons why I, you know, because I often see you and I watch you and follow you and things like that, and I go, she eats so much.
Yeah, because why you get your skeletal muscle up, which, as I said, is going down. Once you get your skeletal muscle up, your body does all the burning for you, and you can stuff your face on food, yeah, and be as slim as you like. It's only the things that cause that extra energy, insulin high, if that doesn't match your movement levels. And as I said, we haven't got time to be moving all the time. I haven't got time. I don't know about you. Yeah, I do not have time. So therefore, you match your food to your day, your lifestyle. That's what I'm saying. I bring about behavioural change. Once people understand that, they lose the food noise, and 4 days, within a week. I mean, I've got several there. They send me a message every day. No drugs, no start, whatever the word we want to say, you know. And then they go, this is a miracle. I feel amazing. I feel happy. I feel light and happy. And I'm not hungry anymore because the food just goes. Because you're taking addiction.
I want to come on to a lot more of the other stuff that you do, but just give me an example of what you might eat for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Just
got
an example.
Lots. Okay, so probiotic, your gut health is everything. Your gut dictates, and this is why I get GLP-1s, because your gut is your first brain. Your brain is your second brain. Yeah, your gut health, because it's your melatonin, your oxytocin, your serotonin. All of it's coming from there. It's your skin, it's your hair, and it's your ability to heal and your ability to fix. Yeah, and so if people can't lose weight, it's either stress, anxiety, vitamin D3 deficiency, B12 deficiency, vitamin C deficiency, which, you know, 50% of the population can have potentially, and eating foods that give them too much insulin. And so all of that affects your gut health. So if your gut is really, really happy and healthy, you can heal everything. You really can. I say, imagine your gut is an Amazon forest, a tropical Amazon forest. Oh, lush, beautiful. Think of the weather now. Oh, lovely. Everything's amazing. And so when you get ill, your gut goes, I can help. I'm here. I've got 37 trillion bacteria, and I can, you know, make you well. When you don't have that gut health, I imagine like Bambi, you know, the movie Bambi, the dead wood.
Yeah.
When you don't have gut health, if you're eating food with lots of preservative, colouring, flavouring, which is kind of everything nowadays, and you've got depression, stress, anxiety, or if you're on meds or anything, then you don't have that gut health. Then when you get ill or suffer divorce or anything like that, your body can't fix you because your body goes into fight or flight mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the fight or flight mode, it takes everything away from the digestive juices. If your gut health is not strong, if your probiotics, you can't get fixed. So your gut health, your food, we dig our grave with our teeth. Yeah. So you've got to eat masses of delicious, particularly fermented foods. So let me go back. So, for example, Greek yogurt and kefir, just a miracle. Kefir has like 1 billion gut bacteria. It could save all the world's problems, but there's no money in it because people like this, big pharma like. Anyway, so things like that. Fermented foods. So lots of Greek yogurt in the morning, but it doesn't taste very nice. Yeah. And you want to get your carbs in always. So nuts and seeds in it to give it some flavor. Yeah. Again, every nut and seed has a property, and maybe you need a protein, maybe you need an amino acid, maybe you need an omega-3, maybe you need fiber, maybe you need skin and hair, sesame. Again, I help everyone with what we individually need. That's why we're one-to-one. You've got to have you cannot do a generic plan. It has to be for Caroline. It has to be unique for each person. Exercise, what you eat, all of it is unique to each person because everybody's completely unique. Depends on your skeletal muscle, your visceral fat, your subcutaneous fat. Depends if you're mesomorph, endomorph. Everything is unique. Yeah. Whether you've got vitamin C deficiency, D, all these things. Yeah. So you can't, I'm not going to give generalization, but let's say, generally, lots of Greek yogurt and lots of kefir, whatever you want. Tastes disgusting. Put nuts and seeds in. You want to get as many carbs in as possible. And then always add another yogurt to make it edible. I don't know, maybe you've got very sour taste. I haven't. So I'll add in some plant-based yogurt because that helps with cancers. Let's say, because soy, whatever, everyone argues about it. In Japan, they have a lot more tofu than anywhere in the world. They have a lot less menopause problems and a lot less cancer risk. So we know plant-based foods mixed in. So you have that. Also, the best breakfast would be like scrambled egg and ham and even bacon and avocados and mushrooms and kippers and haddock and tinned fish. And, in Asia, we have mung bean porridge, which is it's a porridge made of mung. Anything that really fills you up, that's mainly protein-based, natural foods, just stuff your face. Yeah, turn on your metabolism. Don't starve yourself. Turn your metabolism on. Protein-based, you still got your carbs in there, like mushrooms are a carb. Beans, you have baked beans, but get the low salt, low sugar variety. That's a carb. Pulses are a carb, but they're high protein. Yep. So you've got energy and power and brain, and that's what. Remember, your body then burns it off within 4 hours. It's fantastic. Yeah. Then get to lunch. Lunch is the main meal of the day. Yeah. We are animals. We're moving. We're working. We're running family. We're whatever we're doing. Yeah. So that's really important. So lunch is the big boy, and it always was. Go back 100,000 years. Everyone always had a huge lunch. Family. They sat down. The reason in Europe they're a lot. Italy, Germany, France, not Germany, Italy, France, Spain, they have a lot less obesity than we do, is they often spend longer over lunch. They might sit with their family and talk and enjoy lunch. Yeah, in the UK, people sit at their computer, they eat quickly, so then you're starving 10 minutes later. And you really want to have everything at lunch, all the carbs you can shove in your gob, so lots and lots of veg and lots of pulses, lots of proteins. I mean, just going buy some fish from Sainsbury's, doesn't matter. And then lots of veg. I might have a whole packet of Brussels sprouts with mozzarella on top. I mean, you want to be, so protein, carbs, fats. So fats, it's like the butter. There's nothing, never do low fat with a carb, because low fat means they put sugars in it, and zero sugar means they put sweetener in it. So always just eat the full. The only thing is different is the Greek yogurt, the zero, because it's not a carb, it's more a protein, in which case that's more like saying low fat meat. Do you sort of mean you get more protein in the meat? So it's like low fat Greek yogurt, not Greek style. Greek yogurt is more protein, but never with carbs. Never do like slimline tonic or anything, or do low calorie butter. Eat full fat. It's unhealthy because I said if it says low fat, that means they put sugar in it, and it says no sugar, that means they put sweetener in it. You don't want either of those. So there's a lot of myths. There's constant myths because people are trying to confuse you so you buy their products. I'm there my video series is called The Truth Behind, and I literally lay it there. This is the facts, because there's too many naughty people out there saying things that are confusing people.
Yeah, I agree about that. And then supper?
And have some fruit in the afternoon. Fruit is an acid. Do not mix it with your yogurt. Everyone does that. The alkaline wraps around the fruit. You kill off the vitamins. It's it just remember, fruit is an acid. Respect it. Animals in the wild don't go, I'm going to go have that and that. They just eat. Yeah. So have fruit on its own. It's an acid. It's a fiber. It's incredibly good for you. And it's fruit sugar. Yeah. So it's not like high insulin, high sugars. So, there's a myth about fruit. Fruit's fantastic. And it's fiber. And don't juice it. You juice it. You take away the mastication peristalsis. You take away the fiber. You take away sugar water. Eat the damn thing. As I say, don't soup it. Eat it. Eat it. You're full. If you drink it. Yeah, I mean, you're starving again. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So then fruit in the afternoon, and then supper. Now, supper, let's say you went to a good restaurant, but it's not expensive because pulses are cheap. Yeah, when you go to a good restaurant, you get your choice, don't you? You get your steak and your lamb and your whatever you want, or you can be a vegetarian. You have your tofu or your I really like aubergine steak and things like that. Whatever. Whether you're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've done it all. I can tell you, and I'll tell you. We're not now, but what's good. But you balance, everything's good. Yeah. So let's say you went to a good restaurant. They give you what you order. Yeah. And they give you a
Yeah.
choice of veg and they give you a choice of separate sides. Yeah. And when you're sitting on your bottom at 8 at night, just think about it, because food has to get into your tummy for 4 hours, then get into your intestine. If you eat at 9 at night, would it be a good idea to suddenly give yourself a huge insulin spike when your melatonin has come in at 6 or 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. when it's dark to tell you to go to sleep? To suddenly then have all this energy. That's why a lot of children nowadays don't sleep, because parents, poor them, they feed them at 7 or 8 and put them to bed at 9, or because the world changed. Children used to have to eat at half 4. Yeah. And we'll go and play. Now they do their fitness clubs straight from school, and then they come home and they're like, exercise is not retrospective. You should have the food before you do it. So you should eat when you're hungry, which might be 5 or 6 o'clock. That's when humans did used to eat before the sun went down. Humans eat in daytime. If you're now eating at 9, and don't forget, at our age, we're trying to live longer, our metabolism is really pretty ropey by that time at night. Yeah. So if you have a huge energy boost at 9 o'clock, you're basically setting yourself up for having to run around the house again in movement, or you're not going to sleep properly, tossing and turning, not sleeping properly, which makes you insulin resistant. And when you're insulin resistant, you don't burn any fat at all. But it's not about that. It's about your food's not digesting properly, which means you wake up with a fat belly and you're tired. It's all tied in with science. It's all tied in with science.
And what about, because a lot of people will come on to exercise as well. What about people saying you could exercise after you've eaten?
Yes, lovely. But let's get that right. Okay. There's 2 different kinds of exercise. You've got your visceral fat, the fat wrapped around your organs, and you've got your subcutaneous fat, the external fat you can pinch and see. Yeah. Now, I think what they're confusing there, they're confused again because there's so many myths out there. Visceral fat, if you move before breakfast, it's the only time of day your body goes, oh my God, I got no energy. I know, I'll use fat. So if you move on an empty tummy, which really best time is before breakfast, because that's the best time of not eating. Your body, your mitochondria, like, oh my God, they have to release that excess fat that you stored from having too many excess sugars. Yeah. And that fat is your energy source, and you lower your visceral fat, you de-age, metabolic age reverse. That's none of my pronouns. You can literally de-age by 10 years. It's incredible. Yeah. I'm 60, but I'm 50. Yeah. And some of my clients come to me and they're 70 and I get them to 40. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But if you move pre-breakfast, like every animal in the world has always gone and got its breakfast. It didn't get up and eat. Yeah. So it's quite normal. And I'm not saying high impact, yucky stuff. No, I'm just saying a walk. Yeah. A peloton. It's completely, a walk's better. If you go into anaerobic level, you're in sugar burning. We're on fat burning. It's much lower level. You still got to be able to talk. Yeah. There's a difference. Anaerobic is hard 190. You're in fitness, sugar burning. No. We want to be down 120, 130, depending on resting heart rate, 140. That's much easier. And that's just a walk or moving around the room. Yeah. Sitting on a peloton. That is fat burning. Yeah. That's aerobic. Once you're in anaerobic, you're not fat burning anymore. So I think they're confused. What they mean is that kind of exercise is more efficient. All of it's good if you want to, but we haven't got time. I try and get everyone to understand you really don't need to move much. As I said, 80% of what you eat and drink. Yeah. But it's mainly in here. So if you move pre-breakfast, you are getting a new, and you lower your free radicals, like animal, and you're like a new Tesla motor, new engine, like rebooting your computer. But if you don't do that pre-breakfast, you need it 2 mornings a week or 3 mornings a week. It's mental health as well. Some people do it. Walk the dog every morning. It's their choice. No rules. But if you don't do that, your free radicals go up and you age, and your visceral fat is never, how are you going to release those excess fats that you've stored? The mitochondria won't give those up easily. Yeah. So you really, I'm talking in simple terms here, so I don't want to sound too silency, but do you see the difference? Now, the other exercise, which is crucial, and remember, the low impact steady state pre-breakfast, the calories only burn while you do it. Yep. So it might be 250 calories. If you go into sugar burning, it's but we're talking fat loss here on the visceral fat and something. So it might be that stops. As soon as you stop, it stops. The lipids don't dissolve when you do it stops. So that's that. That's great. Well done. But that's not nearly as important, therefore, is it, as resistance exercise? Because resistance exercise burns for 72 hours after. You can do it at 9 at night, 10 at night. You can do 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes during the day. You can do, but every time you do resistance exercise, chemical reaction, adenosine triphosphate splits to a di and a single point, and you get lean tissue. What burns calories? Lean tissue. Your lean tissue is your metabolism. And as we get older, women naturally from 30 are losing it. And men, it's about 52 is magic button. I get loads of male clients, 52, tummy. Yeah. Women from 30. So by 40, the tummy and the hips and the thighs. And by 50, a lot more tummy. And if they don't know, but if they have the intelligent knowledge, everybody can be the weight they want to be easily.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of people out there selling myths and lies. So you buy their products, but I won't go into that.
So I want to come on to the mental and the mindset in a second. Just to synthesize for a second. You talk about resistance. Now, people think that you've got to go to a gym and things like that, but you can use your body weight, you can use bands, you can use weights, and you can do it. It's not a lot of time, is it? It's consistency.
So if you think about us for the last 150,000 years, we did resistance all day. You worked in a factory, yeah. You wash sheets. So you worked in a paddy field. So resistance is normal. It's not. You don't have to go to a gym. No, you know what I mean. That makes it sound like a lot of my clients. Oh, so what I explain to people is resistance is push, pull, squat, land rotates. When you go to a dishwasher, yeah. So let's say I had a client. She had quite high visceral fat. She moved house, had to pack a lot of boxes. Her visceral fat dropped massively, and her skeletal muscle was going up 0.5 a week. Now, I had that client had never done resistance before. She was losing a stone a month. All my clients use a stone a month or more, and which is natural and healthy. It's not water weight. It's because I'm looking at their subcutaneous fat, their skeletal muscle, their visceral fat. It's not about weight. Yeah, we look at those data, so we know that everything is coming off. It's not about the weight. It is about visceral fat, subcutaneous. Anyway, so we know what's going on. They'll lose a stone a month. When they get their skeletal muscle up, you could potentially lose a stone and a half a month because your body is doing the work for you, lean tissue. So don't think going to the gym or weights. Yes, you can do your own body weight. You'll think abs, you lie on your back. Yeah. Bottom, you lie on your back. Inside thigh, you lie on your back. Yeah, you lie on your back. And arms, you can do sitting in a chair when you're watching the news. Yeah. Now, again, I would recommend carrying something when you do your arms because you really, especially as you get older, you get that wrinkly skin. You really need to slightly, get that looking plumped out again, should we say? Yeah. Yeah. And so you want to go with the arms, you want to maybe go slightly, it would be helpful to have something to assist in that, but it could be a wine bottle, or it could be a water bottle for the stones. It could be, anything like that to just create that resistance. So anything that pushes against. So let's say you're lying on your bottom and your legs are in a frog position, you open and close them. That's resistance, isn't it? Yeah. Going against table now, that's resistance. This is resistance. This is resistance.
Yeah, it's funny, when I get out of bed every morning, and I do literally get out of bed and just do a few press ups every morning, and just they're just little things.
And
now I'll be
mental health, don't you feel good?
I feel so great, and actually, I do sit quite a lot in front of my computer. But then I have extremes. I can just be on my feet all day doing something. So, but I've got one of these exercise balls here, and every so often I just pull myself off and do some press ups on the exercise ball with the dogs here, and it's fun. You just got some music on. You just I just need to.
Yeah, sorry. I might say at 9 o'clock. Set yourself an alarm, and if you want to, and at 9 o'clock, I mean, as in daytime, you're up, but set yourself a beeper. And you go and do 10 minutes of arms. Yeah, maybe watch the news and have weights. Yeah. Then maybe after lunch, you lie on your floor and you do 10 minutes of inside thigh. Maybe at 6 p.m., you lie on the floor and you do 10 minutes of bottom. And maybe at 10 at night or something, 9, 10 at night when you go to bed, it's really good to do that top and tail. We call it pre-breakfast and after supper. You could do your abs. Is that too? But just think how that changes. That changes your metabolic rate, speeds up your metabolism, and makes you lean. So don't forget subcutaneous fat and skeletal muscle. Subcutaneous fat is 4 times the size and doesn't burn any calories. And skeletal muscle is a quarter the size and burns calories. So the reason a 20-year-old can eat what they like is of the 70% ratio, they're 60% skeletal, 10% fat. A lot of women, by the time they're 40 or 50, they could be 50-50, which means that every mouthful you eat, 50% doesn't burn off. Once you get your skeletal muscle up, I'm 60, mine's 47, 20, 21, which means everything I eat, 85% burns off, only 15% doesn't. That's easily doable at any age.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. Now, what I want to come on to, because as you've always often said, is that the eating and what we're talking about is the easy part. It's the other thing that's harder, which is the mental side and understanding how we're thinking, how our thoughts lead to what can help us so much in this whole concept.
Yeah. So as I said, it is when no one ever eats for the sake of food, we turn to dopamine because we're looking in the wrong place to find pleasure and happiness. It's that simple. So let's say Carl Jung, we do a lot of Carl Jung. Yeah. Carl Jung, if you wake up in the morning and you're in warrior mode, yeah, fight or flight, yeah, that's adrenaline, cortisol, your body's going to turn off fat burning again. Yeah. So that is and a lot of my clients are literally 98% warrior mode, stress, family, drama. A lot of people, parents are dying, a lot of responsibility there. A lot of people at the moment, yes, obviously we're in a world war, but we're in troubled times, you know, and then people's jobs, AI, all that, particularly COVID, you know, all these things can affect people's balance and happiness.
Yeah.
So we turn to something to look for happiness. We turn to something to give us that dopamine. We all need dopamine. Yeah. And so when we understand that, Carl Jung, he does a lot of, I do a lot with my clients, warrior mode. If you're in warrior mode, you're in adrenaline. Yeah. If you find magician mode, which is before we go into that mode, we take a step back and we go, okay, so yeah, I've got blah, 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 blah. But first of all, I've got a roof over my head. I can breathe. My family are not dying. You know, I have got a job. And even if I lose it, I'll get another one. Yeah. And then even if I lose that, I've got friends and family. You know, first we do that. That's life. That then puts the warrior into a head-felt stress, not a heartfelt stress. And therefore you're more balanced. So somebody who starts today, they're going to food, looking, you know, help. Yeah. But if you take a step back, find the magician and go, no, first, everything's good. I'm okay. I'm safe. And you're not going to turn to and your hormones are more balanced, and you're going to have a much better disposition during the day. And therefore you're going to not be looking for pleasures in the wrong place or quick fixes or, I need, you know, then you've got your lover. And this is where it's really important. I say 1% warrior, 33% magician, 33% lover.
Yeah.
Lover. And this is where we're going wrong. I want you to love yourself, because a lot of my female clients, they're busy doing kids, work, they just run the world and they never have time for themselves. So a lover, what would you do if you're 100% lover? What would you do today? They would have thought about their food. They wouldn't have rushed. They would have maybe done some exercise in the morning, met a friend for lunch, and at 4:00 gone, you know what? I'm not going to empty the dishwasher, put a wash on, go outside and clean the dog. I'm going to go and swim. I'm going to go and have a swim, or go and do play bridge, you know, and give yourself license, yeah, to say, I don't have to fill every second. I love myself. Love yourself. If you don't, if you're the key link to the family, if you get ill, they're all going to go down. So it's about barriers. Yes, say no. Yeah. And opportunity. You know, it's all about that. And then the final one, which is most important, is the monarch. Now for men, that's the king.
Sorry, is the what? Monarch.
The monarch. Yeah. For men, that's the king. For women, that's the queen. And that is the strategies in you. So I want, ideally, to be really healthy, 33% magician, 33% lover, 33% monarch, and only 1% warrior, because the warrior was designed if you're in real crisis. But people tend to live in that all the time. But it worked very well when you and I farm hunt together. It was necessary. We burned off. Do you see? But that's not what we're doing. Yes, because when you're in trauma, your body, as I said, turns off fat burning, you're in fight or flight mode, you become insulin resistant. So lover is important. Magician is important. But monarch says, and it took me years to do this. I was really bad at this, you know, single mum in a way, because my husband didn't work very much, and I was running the business and running the family. Anyway, so it basically is to give yourself license that you say, what are the, let's say, 4 things I actually have to do today? Rather than wake up, empty the dishwasher, do the kids' costume, do 14 projects at work, do that other email, sort the house and move, no, what are the 4 things I actually have to do today? And the rest will bite you in the bum in a week's time, or it'll go away, or delegate it, or give it to your partner to do, or something, right? And if you have that, You go, I'm earning enough money. I'm a good enough mother. I'm a good enough wife. I'm a good enough lover. I'm a good enough whatever. I'm good enough. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
say yes to everybody and be there till 10 at night, empty the dishwasher, or 10 at night at work, or 10 at night, because that's you can't, that is again insulin resistant. That's a problem. Yeah. So you're going to say no. And I've done my 4 things. And you know what? Now I am going to go for a walk. And it's really hard because women particularly, sorry, I have a lot of male clients, but it's really hard to give yourself license to say, no, I'm not going to empty the dishwasher. I'm going to stop. And it might even be breathing. One of my clients, it might be meditation or breathing, just to realize that they were in stress mode, and stress equals no fat burning.
And doesn't it feel good? And I've never heard it described like this. So I love what you've just put forward, and I'm sure that our listeners are going to love it, because I think it's so true. And there's sometimes when I will get out of bed in the morning, and I always say I can't stay in bed because my head goes like that. So I have to get up, do my press up, and then put something in to change my mindset very, very quickly.
Exactly right.
It's habitual for me a little bit, but it's there.
Yeah.
So rather than fight it, I go, well, it's there. So what do I put in place
You see,
to make sure that I'm through from that very, very quickly? And it might be, I listen to a lot of Jim Rohn, so
yeah.
Rohn is very, very, very
I
similar.
know.
Or do it, Joe
Tomorrow
Dispenza.
11. Tomorrow
Joe,
11 is fantastic. I love her.
yeah.
Anyway,
So all those, and then sometimes I go, no. That phone call comes through and you go, no, it's me first. I'm walking the dogs and out there. And when you do it and you put yourself first, it's so empowering.
so
I think we underestimate how empowering it is when actually you say, no, I'm putting me first.
And then the whole day, you're in a calm state. You won't make the wrong decisions. You won't be stressed. You won't be anxious. You won't reach looking for quick pleasures in the wrong place. Takes your balance. It's just everything. So as we say in the morning, do not wake up and go phone. Did that deal come through? Whatever, You wake up when you first say 3 reasons why I'm blessed.
Yeah.
First thing. For some people, that means I've got lungs. I've got legs.
Yeah.
Because you can be the happiest person in the world with nothing and the saddest person in the world with everything. It's all in here. We're not who we are. We're not who we think we are. We're who we think we are. 50% of our personality comes from when we come out. Scientifically, it's proven. But 40% is our choice and 10% is our circumstance. So we're in charge of 50%. So you can literally become a positive person. Positive thoughts, positive thoughts. So if you wake up and say, oh my God, I've got a life, I've got a roof over my head, and I go on holiday, or oh, I've got lungs and a liver, or oh my God, my children are healthy, you're a completely different person during the day.
Yeah.
And you're nicer to everybody. So it's that butterfly effect. Everybody's nicer, everybody's happy, everybody's lovely. Then the person, and running out of the bed, because immediately you put yourself in warrior mode, and that's just negative in every way.
And it is funny because obviously there are days when things do. I mean, I think the other thing is that you put your routine in place in the morning, but you've also got to be aware that sometimes that gets kicked out. And rather than beat yourself up, because then the whole point of that routine is a stress as opposed to a benefit. And I know recently, because I've had quite a few things going on, that my routines are being a bit kicked out, and it is quite hard. But actually, you put little things in place during the day to bring it back in.
Well,
but you don't.
exactly. You're very good. So, as I said, my role is I'm a motivator. I'm a supporter and encourager. Once people know the knowledge of, it's easy. It's then keeping them. And life gets in the way. I say life is a series of hurdles to navigate your way over or around. So if we said, oh, I'm always amazingly healthy when I'm in control, well, that's impossible. Life doesn't work that way. There will be this, there will be that. As particularly you get older, there will be a parent being ill and you suddenly got to be traveling a lot. There will be a job loss, or there will be a child who's got problems. If you say, well, I'm really good, I'm really healthy when I'm in control, I'm trying to help people understand that wherever you are, whatever is happening in your life at whatever time, because there will be always things going on. We've all had massive roller coasters. You want to be well, healthy and wise, and have your positivity and purpose, and know what you've got to do in all those situations. And that might be a bit of planning, whatever, or meditation, or calm, or finding your positivity. And therefore, no matter what gets in the way, you can still keep those stresses as a head stress, not a heart stress. And so you keep your health And you can be in control wherever you are, but you just have to. I spend a lot of time. I might do, let's say, a whole holiday plan. Yeah, when they're on holiday, if you're in a hotel, or or your lifestyle, you're suddenly moving house, or you've got to go and visit somebody in hospital 2 hours away. It doesn't matter. We can still be healthy. We don't need to give up.
And some people need a little bit more help than others, and there's no question of that. But I would say that yeah, I mean, I've been talking and listening to people all my life, and that's been the. But there's always something you can learn that's new, and I think the word that always comes up in every single podcast here is about being curious and having conversations with people like you, and understanding and listening to some of the things that I haven't heard before, which is the method and the mindset. And I think you've always said that actually it's the mind, the head. That's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, if you feel heavy in the body, you feel heavy in the mind, head in the soul. Yeah, when you're light, you can fly. Now, the thing with people who have been heavier than they wanted to be is your body will always try and get you back there. So when if you set your fat cells when we're younger, and the body will always want to get back there. So what happens with people is they lose lots of weight, they're really healthy, but the body will try and get them back. Well, some drama happens in life. So what I do with a lot of clients, they just see me once a month, once a quarter, once every 2 weeks, just as a check-in, a support, a motivation boost, a health check-in. We call them health, success, motivation. And that just means they know they're safe. I go to the gym because I have a really sexy body pump instructor. Yeah, we're all in there. He's gorgeous. We're all in their class. Oh, yeah, we all need someone we're accountable to. Yeah, you wouldn't give in your history homework if you didn't have a history teacher. Yeah. So people who have been heavier than they wanted to be in the past, they may lose 3 stone, 5 stone. They are more likely to have a wobble, to have a relapse. So they need a bit more support. Yeah, like maybe you're really good at maths. You don't ever need it, but someone else might need a maths tutor. Yeah. So they need a bit more support and consolation and a cuddle or a nudge, more regularly perhaps, to stay in a healthy place. But we all need someone that we've all got somebody who's got our back in this world.
So, but you have female clients, you have male clients. What's the sort of ratio there in terms of I mean, do you find that I suppose what's the sort of ratio, and what's the sort of is there a patterning with males as opposed to
really women start their hormone estrogen levels, progesterone levels start dipping from 30 onwards. Yeah, testosterone. Men, it's much later. They're very blessed. Testosterone dips, and then the tummy. So I have a lot of males, but generally at 40 and upwards. Yeah, because younger than that, you can exercise or food younger than that, so they're all gym bros. Women, it's a lot harder. As I said, because the hormones work against us and the tummy starts and all that. So, but I'd say 70-30 or 80-20. Put it this way, I did a get back dating Instagram post because, as you know, I'm an influencer. And I suddenly got 3 new male clients that day. I said, get back dating, okay, after divorce. So there are different points. But I have 23-year-olds who are, at uni or really put on weight, and I'll get them to where they want to be. But again, it's all about health. We don't use the word weight loss even. I have some 14-year-old clients, who just, it's a head thing and it's a health thing. And so, but generally I'd say 80-20 currently, because of the hormones, women need a lot more help than men. So I'd say 80-20 or 75. 25.
So I suppose in a funny sort of way, just what we're talking about now, and you said that you help people they can lose up to a stone in a month, and I think you say that quite openly as well. But I suppose really weight is just a measurement, and actually it's a very helpful measurement, because actually if you look at weight as per se, you losing weight, and that's all you want to do, then actually that's not sustainable. That's not going to happen. But if you're using it as a monitor to your thoughts and what you're doing and your mindset and where you're changing internally, and then the weight comes off as a consequence of that, isn't that what you're trying to achieve?
Yes. So every client's different. Some people want to weigh themselves every day. Now, obviously, the human body goes up and down every day. Depends if you've gone to the loo or not, or the night before, or whatever. So it's ridiculous. it's much better to look at every week. You know what I mean? It's gradual. But what we're doing is we're looking at, is the subcutaneous fat going down? Is the visceral fat going down? Is the skeletal muscle going up? What's the muscle mass? Is the protein going up? The water going up? Is the metabolic age going down? So when you look at that, I say to people, you don't need to look at the weight. But for some people, you're right. They just need that. Everyone's different. They need to know. And then they go, oh, this is amazing. And then they're really happy. I have the most blessed life in the world. You imagine, turn on my phone or computer and I'm on Zoom and people go, oh, and I look like, oh my God, every morning it's like, oh my God, you're all in the green now. Oh my God, you're visceral fat. Oh my God, you're a year younger. Oh my God, you're now not, your subcutaneous fats. Oh my God, you're all, it's the most blissful thing because it's everybody's so happy, and that kickstarts them into more journey and more progress. And we start, let's say somebody's 113 kilos. I get them to 75. I never would say, let's get to 75. We'll start by saying, let's just get below 100. Let's just get below 100. Yep. And then we'll go, oh my God, this is fantastic. Right. Let's get into the 90s. Now, oh my God, let's get into the 80s. And that's the way to do it. It must be piecemeal. It must be comfortable. No diets, no restrictions, no massive changes, because this has to be sustainable for the rest of your life. So I say to my clients, if anything we're doing is not something you can imagine doing for the rest of your life, tell me, and we won't do it, because that's not what this is about. I'm no diet, no gym, no fat, no gym unless you want to, because I don't want to scare people. Yeah, you might go to Reformer Pilates, or you might then get really into it. But the point is, it's not a rule. Yeah, and it's gradual and it's piecemeal and it's little changes. And once you got the method's easy, and then I'm, in their head, as they say, and they just know that this is about living longer for the children, or feeling more confident for work, or getting rid of the risk of cancer, reducing the risk of cancers, and getting fertile, whatever it is, get back dating again. That is the motivation.
Do you use those scales that monitor those?
So your smart scales, they're incredibly cheap. Yep. And as I said, the weight, Usain Bolt weighs 100 kilos. He's gorgeous. Yeah. But my boyfriend wouldn't want to. So again, don't look at the weight. In the old days, we looked at the weight. And don't forget, subcutaneous fat and skeletal muscle weigh the same. But you can be quarter the size. You can lose 3 inches. Yeah. But weigh the same. But if you have a smart scale, you for the rest of your life can go, oh, when I went on holiday, I put on weight, but I didn't actually put on fat. I put on muscle mass because I went uphill and I was quad dominant rather than glute dominant. Yeah, there's a lot of muscle mass. Skeletal muscle is amazing, but muscle mass, that's all your muscles. Yes, your massive muscles. And it might be that you're carrying, the scale will tell you, more muscly mass in your thighs and your belly and your bottom. That's a whole different conversation from someone who's got too much subcutaneous fat. That's a whole different conversation from someone who's got too much visceral fat. It's a whole that's what I mean. That's why the one-to-ones are, you have to have a personal experience, a personal plan for you, because, and also, are you a mesomorph, endomorph, ectomorph, or are you all three? So when people do generic things, great, short term, it's never going to be a long-term solution. This has to be, mine's one and done. You do it for life. When you take control of your health, reclaim your life, or fast rapidly, you do it once and you're done forever. Because once you got that knowledge, as long as you're motivated, which I said, some people need a bit of a cuddle every now and then, you're done.
It is so true. As I said, when I went to see this guy about 12 years ago, he said, why do you want to worry about it? Just put it aside. Do this, and then you forget about it. You eat, and you just eat that food, and actually, it's one less thing to stress about. And it's a bit like sort of, you walk the dogs, and the more you do the walk, then you've done it. You don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. It's putting those.
You're not a food addict, and you haven't got food noise. Yes, so that's very difficult for people to hear. And that's why they might turn to meds or whatever, because they go, no, you don't understand. I've got food noise. I can't. What I'm saying is food noise can be eliminated very quickly, actually. Type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes. For people who are addicts, we've all been there. We've all been there. Yeah, we all have been heavier than we wanted to be. We've all been food or drink addicts. I always say if someone's never been an addict, I worry about them, because what are they? You know what I mean? It's normal. Yeah. But some people, addictions are unhealthier than others. And so, you don't have it, but a lot of people, they can't understand that way of thinking. And as I say, once they're healthy and they're off the food noise, they become like you. But when we're in the bad place, when we're in the stress place, when we're in the food noise place, when we're in the addiction phase, when we're using food at night, a lot of people, they go home and they're miserable and they just, I've been there, we've all been there. So, you can't see the wood from the trees at that point. You're in, but once you can do this, never too late. It's actually quite simple. Yeah. And then once you've got your head in the game, you're sorted for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's happiness and health. And it goes back to, I said, you can fly.
Love it. So we started off with flying. We're going to end with flying. But Pippa, just before we go, your book is being redone, and also you're opening up a clinic in Chelsea. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So the book went out and it had a few mistakes in it. I can be honest. I paid a proofreader, editor, public. I paid all these, and it was all a bit. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I found some mistakes. It's a number one bestseller on Amazon in nutrition, diet, weight loss categories. And then somebody said about a typo, and so anyway, it's being re-edited. It's the same book because it stands the test of time, and as I said, it's a bestseller on Amazon. But it's being re-edited, and that should have been very recently, but it will be done, and so you can buy it now. But as I said, if you wait a week or two, when you buy it, it'll be perfect. And I've also managed to update it a bit and move it around a bit, because science changes and whatever. So the next, it's almost a new version, but I'm keeping it the old, because I Reclaim Your Life in 7 Simple Steps. I don't want to change it. It works very, very well. And, it's not very well. It's only 3 years old. And then the space, as I said, more and more people want to actually come in person. I've realized that literally numbers have gone. I went 100% Zoom during COVID, and more people are coming back. And then there's, I put an online course, I've got a book, I've got, they can do my fitness videos, whatever. But I think people like to be in person. And then again, it's that more personal touch, but also there's the fat freezing, which is crucial if you've lost weight, but you've still got a few fatty bits. Yeah. I can help them very much more with their whether ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, look at their body type and give them much more specific, bespoke exercise for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we get older, it's about the body. Yeah. And if you've lost weight, a lot of people now have wrinkly skin or saggy skin and that kind of thing. So I can really focus on helping their saggy skin, their wrinkly skin, as well as helping them, behavioral change. And I think you do that much better in person. So that's why, the space in Chelsea gives me much more opportunity to help people in those various ways.
And one of the things we always leave our listeners with at the end of this, I believe in the power of 3: inspire, engage, bring people together, believe hard work, tenacity can make many things happen. What 3 things would you like to leave our listeners with today?
Okay, right. Okay, so I didn't have much. Okay, there's so many. 3 of the most important things. 1, it never is too late, ever. I have clients who are 87. A lot of people say, oh, well, and one that says it's never too late to take control of your life again, to have a lean tummy, to tighten up, to tone, to feel proud again, to lose fat, to do the right kind of movement. Don't give up on yourself. It is never, ever, ever too late. A lot of people, they have a bad divorce or something and they go, well, no, whatever the age, you can get out there. I mean, I found love at 58. I had the love of my life at 58. And, women have to reinvent themselves. And then, if the kids leave home, no, you can always do this. It's never too late. And I'm like, we can do this. You know what I mean? We can, you're like me. We're like, again, on a fire horse once every 60 years. I really want to encourage, particularly women, a lot of women, they say, I can't do that. I'm not like you. Yes, you can. It's amazing opportunities. So it's never too late. Yeah. It's never too late in life. It's never too late to find a new partner. It's never too late to start a business. I mean, the opportunity now with AI, you could start an amazing business. No matter what age, you can make millions in a week. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. I mean, somebody went onto Reddit, what's the most asked question? How do I stop my dog barking? He was making millions. He didn't have a dog. Yeah. Another was, he just did AI did a PDF and he sold it. So I want people, it's never too late for anything. You can find love, you can get healthy. Sorry, this is one tip, but it's about 10. You can start a new career. You can, because when kids leave home, well, you might have 30 years ahead of you. It's never too late to have an amazing life and take control of your life. Yeah. 2, I really want people to understand the importance of skeletal muscle, not muscle mass. I really want people to understand skeletal muscle. There's the muscles on your ligaments, on your bone. Really understand that drives your metabolism. And as we get older, which is this generation, we're older than ever before, you've got to understand that becomes very important. Yeah. And so don't see it as exercise. See it as what would I have done in the past to do push-pull to create a resistance. Imagine you're an astronaut in space, no gravity, blah, 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 you're going to blubber. Yeah. If you get what that is, yeah, the pushing against thing, and therefore create a chemical reaction and create lean tissue, life is so much easier because your body burns all the calories for you without you having to do anything. It changes everything. As I said, you see friends at lunch who eat nothing, and they're not small. And then you see friends who eat everything and they're tiny. It's purely their skeletal muscle, and anyone can change that. Yeah, but I help with it. It's a testosterone thing or whatever. And then the third is incredibly important. Again, menopause or menopause. Menopause. You don't need to put on weight. It is not a life sentence. You can always fix it. And I work with that. You can always fix the belly. You can always fix your hormones. You can always fix the happiness, anxiety, the sleep. Do not give up. My message is the same thing. Do not give up. No matter what happens, menopause, perimenopause, you can always get back to what you were before. Never give up. Yeah, it's all doable.
Oh my goodness, I want to come see you, I want to spend time with you. I've got so much to talk to you about after.
Isn't it fun? Isn't it fun? You hear all the knowledge. It's so fun.
And also, it's lovely to have people around you, and you're so enthusiastic, and I think you talk faster than me now. So it's nice. But thank you so much for being on the podcast today. Just before you leave, where can people find you?
Okay, so my brand is the Weight Loss Guru. Yeah, so if you do theweightlossguru.com.co, theweightlossguru.co.com, I've got a website. My book is Reclaim Your Life in 7 Simple Steps on Amazon. I'm on Instagram, the Weight Loss Guru com, C-O-M, the Weight Loss Guru com, because I was the first one. Then I'm on TikTok, the Weight Loss Guru. I'm on YouTube, the Weight Loss Guru. I'm on LinkedIn, the Weight Loss Guru. So basically, look out the Weight Loss Guru, yeah, and you'll find me. As you see, I'm like you. I'm just a carer. We're just here to help, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.